What's up guys, Derek here with Tap and Turn Gaming, coming at you today with another episode in our top 10 secret tech for colors and colored combinations. Today's video will be for, as you can see, top 10 secret tech in black. And again, this is just going to be a bunch of cards that we felt were really good for the color that maybe not played very well that serve a good utility role in those colors. So we'll take a look at what we came up with for black. First card we have was Haunted Crossroads. This is a 3-cost enchantment that you can pay a black to put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. Now, black does have a lot of recursion. It does have a lot of one-shot recursion. So this is nice because you can do it again and again and again and again. And for the cost of 1 black mana, so that's very nice. I will say that, like I said, black does have a ton of recursion, so this may be a little subpar than some of the recursion black has, or than a lot of it. But we're also just trying to fill roles that those colors can do, and maybe find little pet and tech cards that can do it pretty well. But if you're able to draw a lot of cards like black can, it's not necessarily a drawback that it's on top of your library. And if it's on top of your library, it's not in your hand, so your opponent can't make you discard it. So it's all in all, it's a pretty cool card. Then we have Phyrexian Reclamation. This is another very similar card. This is a 1-cost enchantment that you can pay 1 in a black and 2 life to return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Now this is in a very similar vein to Haunted Crossroads. Whereas this can come down on turn 1 instead of turn 3, and you can use it on turn 2 instead of turn 4, but you have to pay 2 life, so after a while its cost can really get heavy. But being as black is all about, gain through pain, it's not really that big of a deal for them, but it's a pretty solid card. These first 2 cards, being Haunted Crossroads and Phyrexian Reclamation, fill a big role of reusable recursion, and anything in EDH that's reusable is really, really versatile. Then we have Relic Bane. I really like this card a lot. This is a 3-cost enchantment that has to enchant an artifact, specifically an artifact. And it says, enchanted artifact has, at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 2 life. So put this on your opponent's mana rocks, put this on something your opponent has that they're not want to get rid of. Because a lot of people don't pack ways to destroy their own stuff or ways to destroy their own artifacts. Everybody packs in, sacrifice outlets for creatures. Not everybody has sacrifice outlets for artifacts. So, you can put this onto your opponent's soul ring on, as soon as they get it down, put this onto their Darksteel Reactor, Mycosynth Lattice, things that your opponents are going to play that are really, really heavy, like just Gilded Lotus, all those kind of things that your opponents are going to play eventually, and just make them really pay for it. So that does make it a very, very cool ability. Next up we have Vampiric Link. This is a 1-cost black enchantment that says enchant creature. Whenever enchanted creature deals damage, you gain that much life. So what makes this a really nice tech card is that you throw it on one of your creatures, you attack, you gain the life. You throw one of your opponent's creatures, whenever your opponent's creature hits, you gain that life. So basically, you put on one of your opponent's creatures, you attack. If they block with that creature, you're gaining life. If they attack with that creature, you don't even need to bother blocking. You can let that creature hit you, because what's going to happen is you're going to gain the life that you would lose from the hit. And since this triggers when the damage happens, they happen simultaneously, it's just going to pretty much negate the hit, so it makes it a really, really nice card, especially at the 1 mana slot. It's sort of like a pseudo-pacifism for black, so it's very, very nice. For sorceries, we're running Phyrexian Tribute, a 3-cost sorcery that you can sacrifice creatures to destroy target artifact. This is one of maybe 3 ways black has to destroy artifacts. Now it does cost you 2 creatures to do so, but it's really not that bad considering you're destroying an artifact in a color that can't really do it on its own anyways. So it gets my thumbs up for that card. Then we have Sadistic Sacrament. This is probably the most played card on the list, I think. But it is a very good card for what it does. So it's a 3-cost black sorcery, triple black, so outside of mono black it might be hard to cast, with a kicker of 7. But it says, search target player's library for up to 3 cards, exile them, then that player shuffles his or her library. If it was kicked, instead search that player's library for up to 15 cards, exile them, and then that player shuffles his or her library. So what's nice about this card is you cast it, and you can go through and you can exile their combo pieces immediately. Like if you see that they're playing combos or something that you can't deal with, you can exile it immediately, and that's really nice early game. Now you play this late game, and you can take out 15% of their deck for 10 mana. That's pretty fair, I would say. I like that a lot. But what I really like about this is just playing it for the 3, exiling those couple cards, getting rid of the combo pieces, getting rid of their win cons, getting rid of things you can't necessarily deal with, as well as gaining knowledge into what their deck is packing. Because you can search their entire deck, you can look at every single card they're playing. Now you know maybe what style of deck they're playing, maybe how to beat it, things to look out for. Just the sheer knowledge that it gives you is really what makes this a good card. For our instance, we only have one, Spoils of Blood. It's a pretty cool card in that it is a 1 black instant where you put an XX black horror creature token onto the battlefield, where X is the number of creatures that died this turn. So what makes this a really cool card is that in EDH you will see tons of sweepers. There will be tons and tons and tons of sweepers. I mean, red has quite a few now, black has a bunch, white has a ton, and they pretty much come frequently in EDH. So it's not uncommon to see 10, 15, 20, 30 creatures on the board. Someone goes ahead and wraths. You respond with this after. You get a 20/20 black horror on your turn. You swing away with it. You could do some really solid damage to someone, if not take somebody out. So it's a really cool little fun tech card. It's almost like fresh meat and green, whereas you get a 3/3 beast for every creature. But I like this because you just get one really massive guy. For creatures, we're running 2. Phyrexian Plague Lord. So Phyrexian Plague Lord is a 5-cost 4/4 carrier, is his creature type. But what's cool about him is you can tap him to sacrifice him, and target creature gets a -4/-4 until end of turn. So he is removal on a body. But he has a secondary ability, and that's what makes him really powerful, is that you can sacrifice a creature, and target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. That is a very powerful ability to have in such a small little package here. You can freely sack your creatures to give -1/-1 to your opponent's creatures. And you can use it as a combat trick. They attack with a 2/2, you block with the 1/1, and give it the -1/-1. I mean, it won't die from the combat damage, but it's still a nice combat trick to be able to block and hit something else and move around those -1/-1s. It's also a free sack outlet, which is really what makes it probably most profound, is that you get a free sack outlet that can kill creatures. It's very similar to say, a Goblin Bombardment in red, but it's really nice to be able to take out creatures at will. Then we have in a similar vein, we have Sadistic Hypnotist. Now, he does come in at $3, so he may be pretty commonly played. I don't think I see him that much. But what he is he is a 5-cost 2/2 human minion. You can sacrifice a creature and target player discards 2 cards, but you can only activate this when you can activate a sorcery. So only on your turn. But again, you can sacrifice a creature for free, and one creature makes them discard 2 cards. So you sacrifice 3 creatures, they discard 6 cards, that's basically their whole hand. If you have that 4th creature, go ahead, sacrifice that, and they discard their entire hand generally. 9 times out of 10, that's going to work. And that is just a very powerful and potent ability to be able to get free, reusable discard. It's just something that I would pack into every black deck until I had something that I had to put over it, because it's just a good ability. And then last up we have Altar of Shadows. Now you'll notice Altar of Shadows is an artifact, but we are talking EDH, so because it does have that black mana symbol on it in its text, it is considered a black card as far as EDH is concerned, so we're going to talk about it for EDH. Now it is a 7-cost artifact that does make it pretty high cost to cast, and it is a little slow, but we are talking about secret tech and fun little kooky cards. So what this does is at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, so main phase 1, add black to your mana pool for each charge counter on Altar of Shadows. So in the beginning that will be 0. And for 7 mana you can tap this to destroy target creature, then put a charge counter on Altar of Shadows. So this is reusable creature kill that we have that just destroys target creature. It doesn't matter what color it is, it gets around all that stuff, just destroys target creature. And because this is an artifact, technically, it also gets around pro-black and all those kind of things. So you pay 7, destroy a creature. Next turn, because you're going to get the free black mana from this, you only have to invest 6 mana, so on and so forth. And then once you've killed 7 creatures with this, now you get to start using it for free, and every turn you can kill a creature for free. And when there are no more creatures, you can just use that mana for whatever you want. So if you've killed 8 creatures with this, then you can go ahead and on your main phase 1, you have 8 mana to use for whatever spells you may want to cast. So not only does this remove creatures from the board as it charges up, once it charges up to a certain point, let's say you get it up to 9 charge counters, you can use 7 of it to go ahead and kill a creature, and then you still have 2 mana from it floating that you can invest into other things. It's a pretty cool little card for what it does, and it's definitely not super heavily played, and I think because there are better, faster options. But, you know, given the amount of mana you can produce in EDH, I think it's a pretty fun card to use. But that wraps up the list. We'll go over the list again real quick. We had Haunted Crossroads, Phyrexian Reclamation, Relic Bane, Vampiric Link, Phyrexian Tribute, Sadistic Sacrament, Spoils of Blood, Phyrexian Plague Lord, Sadistic Hypnotist, and Altar of Shadows. This has been Derek with Tap and Turn Gaming, and this has been Top 10 Secret Tech in Black. Please like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more gameplays, top 10s, product unboxings, and all the other fun stuff we do. Send us a like, send us a comment for what you'd like to see, and we'll get right on it. So thanks a lot, and goodbye.